Hello, parents. I'm Jill Bolstridge, founding artistic director of Triple Promise Academy for the Performing Arts, and I'm also the director for the shows that the children are about to audition for this season, Shrek Jr. and 13 the Musical. Most of the videos that I make are for kids. This video is for the parents, and I am making this to hopefully help you to help your child to ease some stress, anxiety, and nervousness as we lead up to the auditions on Saturday. I will try to make this brief, but please do your best to stay with me through the whole video. You don't have to look at me if you don't want to, but at least listen to my voice. Play it while you're in the car. That would be great. I do some of my best listening in the car. So, the first thing that I want you to assure your children of, and I'm going to make another age-appropriate video for the children that will be separate from this. So just be on the lookout for that as well. This is for the parents, okay? So the first thing that I want the children to know, and this is really important, we are on their side. Of course we want every single kid who comes in to have a great audition. It would be absurd for us not to. It's just like interviewing somebody for a job at your place of employment, right? You're not sitting behind your desk saying, oh, I hope the next guy who comes in is a real loser. Of course you're not. Of course you want every single candidate who comes in to interview to impress you. It's the same thing, and not just in children's theater, in the professional world too. Every Broadway casting director, every major motion picture director, all of them want every single person who walks into the audition room to knock their socks off, because when the talent is good, of course their production is going to be good. So it's really, really important that kids know that we're on their side and we really want them to succeed, and we really want them to walk away feeling good about doing their best. We are experts at working with beginners. We will help them through their audition. We will encourage them. We are very good at making the audition process fair, educational, and encouraging. And that is the most important thing to me when it comes to auditions. Fairness, education, and encouragement. We want them to walk away feeling great about doing their best, regardless of how the show gets cast. So we will help them. If they mess up, they can start over. If they make a mistake, we will coach them through it. I always tell them, if you make a mistake, use it as an opportunity to show the directors what you would do if you made a mistake in a real show, right? You will not be defined by the mistakes you make, but by how well you bounce back from them. So that's something that I want to teach for the stage and for life. So I do encourage them to work through their mistakes, but we do not punish them for their mistakes. So just encourage them to try their best. That's super, super important. So I have even stood up at auditions and done the song with the child. So we really, really do our best to make it as positive an experience as we possibly can and to set every single child up for success. The only thing that we do not do is we do not force the children to go into the room. If the child is crying hysterically, clinging to their mother, and they don't want to come in, we don't force. They may not be ready. Maybe they'll want to come back next season. That's fine, but we don't force them. Additionally, no one should be worried about getting cut unless there is a behavior problem. We are working with students of all experience levels. We do not cut children based on experience, skill, or talent. The only reason why we would not cast a child is if there were a behavior issue that had a negative impact on other students' ability to learn. That is one of the reasons why I stopped working in schools, because I saw that there were behavior problems from children that the teachers had no choice but to tolerate, and that was having a negative impact on other children's experience. At Triple Promise, we don't allow that. If there's a behavior problem, the child would be cut, but we would have had that conversation with you already by now. So I don't like surprises. Those of you who know me know that I find transparency extremely important. And those of you who don't know me will get to know that very quickly. I'm a very transparent person, and I really believe in honesty. From an educator to a parent, I think it's the only way to set up student success is honesty and partnership, right? The village. So just keep that in mind. how do we cast the show? So I have a separate video that I made while I was the head of drama at Poly Prep for 13 years. I will link to that below. Even though I had made it for the Poly students, the information is exactly the same. It goes through in painstaking detail how we cast the show, step by step by step by step, and how we work to set every child up for success and to challenge each child and to pull out their aptitude. It's a very lengthy video, but we had a lot of questions about it, so I made it. I will link to that video below, and you're welcome to watch it. I'm trying to keep this video short, so if you don't want to watch the whole lengthy how do we cast the show video, here are the bullet points. Every single child's audition is treated with confidentiality, with respect, with dignity, and with care. Those are really the bullet points. And it's more like a puzzle piece, right? And I'm going to get into that in a moment. So the last thing that I want to address is, second to last thing, sorry, I'm trying to keep it short. The second to last thing I want to address is, for some reason this season, I'm not sure why, I've had multiple conversations with multiple students and multiple parents surrounding this idea that students are feeling a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress and a lot of nervousness surrounding this question of, what role should I audition for? That question is irrelevant. And I'm going to tell you why. It's so irrelevant that it would be funny if it weren't so heartbreaking how stressed out the kids are about it. There are two reasons why that question does not matter. The first reason is, this is not a Broadway production. It's not like we have 700 women coming into audition for Fiona, and one of them's going to get it, and one will be the understudy, and the other 698 will be cut. We are going to cast every child, unless, like I said, there is a behavior problem or they opt out of auditioning, right? So this idea of what role should I audition for, it's absurd. We do our homework, we know the show, we know what the line loads are, we know what the characters require, we know what the vocal ranges are, and we know what the dance requirements are for every single role. We know the show inside out way before we go into auditions. So, and now that we've had 2 weeks of working with your kids, we have a lot of information on them at this point. So, and I'm really excited about that, because it is going to give us the foundation that we need to ensure that we are setting every child up for success, as well as challenging them and pulling out their potential. And that is really what it's all about. So with that in mind, with that said, every child will be considered for every role, whether they audition for it or not. If your child wants to, let's say that your child is a perfect fit for Pinocchio, and we know that, which Pinocchio is one of the lead roles. Let's say that Pinocchio is perfect for your child, but your child didn't audition for Pinocchio. They auditioned for Shrek. We're not going to look at the child and say, this kid would have been perfect for Pinocchio, but he auditioned for Shrek. Oh, well, I guess we can't cast him. That would be ridiculous. Whether he auditioned for Pinocchio or not, or she, that is the role that the child will get, whether they audition for it or not, if it is the best fit for that child. Our goal is always to set children up for success and to challenge them. So that's just super, super important. And the last part of that is that we don't care what they quote unquote want to audition for, because they don't know, really. I mean, they think they know, and again, I'm going to make a separate video for the kids about this and address it in an age-appropriate way, but transparently, from educator to parents, they are not fully developed rational beings. They lack self-awareness at this age. They have no idea. As my mother-in-law used to tell my husband as he was growing up as a child in Alaska, wanting and needing are not the same things. They have no idea what role is best for them. They just know the role that they want, and their reasons for that are oftentimes based on really, really silly, irrelevant things. Maybe they want the spotlight, maybe they want a lot of lines, maybe they want this or that. I've had kids tell me ridiculous reasons. I once had a child tell me that she really thought she should be a certain role because she had the costume at home from Halloween. I mean, it was just, they're not rational, fully developed beings. They don't know what they need. They just know what they think they want. And our job is to assess where they are, set them up for success. We are never going to cast a child in a role that's outside of their vocal range, or that requires dance skills that they're not even anywhere close to mastering yet, because we want them to feel proud of their performance. We don't want them to feel like they came into it and failed at something. That would be the worst possible outcome. So we cast with that in mind. Additionally, I oftentimes think that even many parents, as much as I have respect for parents, don't necessarily always know what the best role for their child is. And a great example of that is our very first show that we did at Triple Promise. I had a parent who was extremely upset with me because she felt that her two children did not have enough lines. And she was very adamant about this and argued with me very passionately. And I talked to her about the child's skill set and where they were currently and what challenges I wanted to help them with and what potential I saw in them and why I had cast them in the part that I did. She didn't want to hear it. She just wanted more lines. 3 months later, those same two children did not know their lines, and they were deers in headlights, freaking out. And this was the same mother who had said, my kids need more lines. So she thought she knew what her kids needed, which was more lines in her mind, but I'm the expert. I know what the child actually needs. I'm very good at what I do, and I'm not saying this to toot my horn. I'm letting you know transparently that you need to trust me and you need to trust the process. Ultimately, you either trust me or you don't. If you do, then you know that regardless of any hurt feelings or difference of opinions, that I cast the show in a way that is fair and that sets children up for success both individually and as a collective cast. If you don't trust me, please, by all means, go and take your child to a program that is run by professionals whom you do trust. And that is not tongue-in-cheek. I mean that with absolute sincerity. If you do not trust my decisions, please go find a program where you do trust the person who runs it, where you trust the decisions of that person. We will not be able to work together successfully to develop your child's talent, passion, and potential for theater if you don't trust me. So the last thing that I want to audition is, and I know this is oversaid, but there truly are no small parts. There are only small actors, and I promise you, I will not allow any child to be a small actor. I will do everything I can to draw out the absolute best in every single child. Finally, and this is something I'm going to tell the children as well, do not allow your child to allow my decisions to define them. And I really mean this. Do I think I'm very good at what I do? Absolutely. Am I fully aware that I'm a speck on the planet? Absolutely. I'm a speck on the planet with one set of opinions for one play at this one moment in time. And a role that I see as not the appropriate fit for your child right now could be a total home run for your child 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now. That's the beauty of children, because they're in a constant state of development. And so I don't want them to ever let my decisions define them. If you don't get the role that you want, it doesn't mean you're not the right fit for that role. It means you're not the right fit for that role right now. That's all it means. When I was in 5th grade, I had a teacher tell me I was not front row material. This was for a school play in 5th grade in which every child was cast. And she said, Jill, you are just not front row material. And that stuck with me for a very long time. And I believed that for a really long time. And because I respected this teacher so much, I truly believed that I was not front row material and never would be for quite a while. And it took me time to realize that I was front row material. And maybe, and she was probably right. At that time, I probably wasn't, but I was the next year. And my sixth grade drama teacher saw that. And, you know, that's why I always try to tell the kids, this may not be the fit for you now. This is what I need you to work on. It is attainable for you. Here's how. So I always try to do that the absolute best I can. And please, as parents, encourage that as well. Finally, and I promise this is the last thing. Oh, 15 minutes. I'm so sorry. This is so long. I promise this is the last thing. Please be absolutely certain that you have read our casting policy, guarantees, and zero tolerance policy, which is the document that you clicked I have read and agree to Triple Promises casting policy, guarantees, and zero tolerance policy at the time of registration. I sincerely hope that you didn't just click the box, that you actually read the document. I am going to resend it to you as a reminder. Please read this document thoroughly. It is super important. And please be sure that before the auditions on Saturday, that you have had an age-appropriate conversation with your child about the contents of that document, and that you are helping to manage your child's expectations. Let them know that you believe in them, that you love them, and that you think that they're great, but that every single other parent in this program feels the same way about their child. And our job as directors is to cast the show fairly. And that may mean that some kids will be disappointed. Allowing your child to work through that disappointment is crucial to their development as people. So please be sure that you've read that you've had a discussion with your child. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at any time. As it says in the document, any complaints about the casting will be redirected to that document which you clicked I agree on. So please be sure that you have reviewed it. Thank you for listening to this. I apologize for the length. Thank you so much for choosing Triple Promise. Thank you for allowing me to be a small part of the village that is raising your beautiful, amazing children. Regardless of what happens at the auditions, I promise you that your child is about to have one of the most amazing, fulfilling, joyful experiences of their young lives. I promise you that. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.